Going on? It's Kyle Henderson of Bama Football on YouTube. Could I get a roll tide inside the comment box? I appreciate you guys being here. Today is Wednesday. It is March 26th. And I hope you're having an amazing day, and I hope that you're having an amazing week wherever you are. And thanks for joining us. Coming to you from beautiful Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Crimson Tide set to tip off tomorrow against BYU in the Sweet 16. We're going to cover some of that in our morning segment. Then we'll move on to the big story today, which you all should be watching around 3 p.m. You have a big-time prospect out of Georgia. Jorden Edmonds will be making his announcement. He's been predicted by the people that know every single thing about Alabama football to commit to the Alabama Crimson Tide. That's coming later on today. So a lot coming your way. I appreciate you guys being here. Good morning to you guys. What's up? Chris from New Jersey, man. Always checking in. That's what's up, man. I appreciate it. Using those emojis because you're a fan funder. Anita, what's up? I appreciate you as well. Carrick, what's up, man? It was good to catch up with you yesterday, man. I know we were talking a little bit of basketball. That was good to see. Matthew Newton, man, what's up? I appreciate you being here. Hope you're having a great Wednesday. You know, it was crazy. I felt that February was a little bit slow, but I feel like March has been moving. And Matthew is asking about Jorden Edmonds. Looks like he's going to commit around 3 p.m. that window, Central Time. You can follow him on Instagram. I'm sure he'll announce it there. You can follow Hayes Fawcett. You know, those are the guys who know absolutely every single thing. Chad Simmons, Andrew Bone, Tim Watts, who knows every single thing about Alabama football. Those guys have all predicted it. So we'll cover that on the back end. Jarvis, what's up, man? I appreciate you being here, bro. Yeah, man, I'm feeling good. You know, I think as we get into our opening segment about Alabama basketball, I'm feeling way more confident about this team's chance to run, right? What's up, Ray? Appreciate you being here. Good morning. Thanks for checking in. Good to see you. Let me ask you a question, just for the jump, just to kind of set the tone, just to kind of set like the stage for the show. Aren't you feeling more optimistic about Alabama basketball at this point in time, even before the tournament started? I don't know if it was the way that the season ended for Alabama or it seemed like they were really exhausted. I don't know, but it seems like, because I even have receipts, you can go back and watch some of my shows. I just didn't feel like the team had it at that point in time, and I look to them landing in New Jersey right now and practicing and getting ready for a Sweet 16 matchup against a really good BYU team. Every team you play, it doesn't matter, first round, second round, Sweet 16, Elite 8, wherever, it's all going to be challenging. But it seems like there's reason to be more optimistic based off the fact that they have played well in round 1 and round 2. Right, Jarvis? Jarvis is always on the pulse, so you're feeling it, man. I appreciate it. And Samuel says this is a tough matchup. Hell yeah. I 100% agree. I think the line has moved just a little bit. I have it at 5 right now in favor of Alabama. But just as Jeff says, BYU is going to be tough. Very tough out. And we'll see what happens in New Jersey. The winner plays the winner of Arizona and Duke, which will, surprise, surprise, also be difficult. Nicole, what's up? Appreciate you being here. Good morning to you. Carrick chimes in. He says, I think Duke going to get upset. It's going to be an all-SEC Final Four. Yeah, I think I have that's what I have. I have Florida, I have Auburn, I have Bama, and I have Tennessee. So that's what I have, an all-SEC Final Four. I'm actually 4th out of 25. We do a men's tournament bracket, so I'm up in the top. I didn't pick very many upsets. There wasn't a lot of upsets, and there haven't been so far in the tournament. I just feel, kind of looking at the bracket, I didn't see a lot of people that, really stood out to me. I think I picked like Yale to beat Texas A&M. I had a couple misses. I should have picked Creighton to beat Louisville early on, but whatever. So look, you look to where this team is, and you kind of look at the stats, you look at the odds, whatever. Alabama clearly the favorite to win this game. The number 2 seed and the way that they've been playing. And I think I'm just going to continue to point to the graphic that we've kind of been rolling with, for, the last couple days. And it all comes down to these particular players right here. I think, a lot will depend on the player of Sears. Shocker, right? In him getting into foul trouble early on, I think that was uncharacteristic of him. But then if he does, you get to see kind of the back end depth of Alabama basketball, right? And yeah, if you're just joining us, the meat of our show will be talking about Jorden Edmonds, who's the 5-star, who is slated to announced. It's actually his decision day. You're going to be really excited if Alabama lands this 5-star corner out of Georgia. I'm telling you. I'm going to kind of pair it in with the direction that Alabama is leaning in terms of the new corners that they're rolling with. So he'll be announcing at 3 p.m. Follow your favorite recruiting sites, whether that's 247 Bama, whether that's BamaOnline, whether that's Tide Illustrated, whether that's Touchdown Alabama. All those guys have mega platforms and know every single thing there is to know about Alabama football. I mean, there's 5 million sites, so definitely pick yours and roll with them. But I think when you look to what we have here, Sears goes off, and I think a lot depends on this guy right here. I think these two, particularly in the middle, Chris Youngblood and Cliff Amore. You get Amore to stay hot against BYU. You continue to do the lob dunks. You get some good play from him on the defensive side. You get rebounds, whatever it is in transition basketball. I think Cliff Amore could be the difference maker going forward, honestly. I think that we know what we're going to get from the rest of the guys, not necessarily the Youngblood because he's kind of been up and down. But look, we know that Nelson's going to come with it in big-time game situations. I could see him absolutely going off against BYU or against the winner of Duke or Arizona should Alabama get that far. Mark Sears, it seems like Youngblood's kind of the question mark. Now, if Youngblood is hot and he gets hot going forward, it seems like there's a real possibility that Alabama could string this thing together. Okay. Mo Diabate off the bench has been absolutely stellar. I wish I had more. I guess I could crowd up the graphic and add Holloway. Philons, he's doing his thing as well, but this team has plenty of depth, and there's some other guys that I could talk about as well. But these are the kind of 5 guys that I'm rolling with, and this is not the starters. Mo Diabate is usually off the bench, but look at here. I think this will make a big difference going forward for Alabama. Is look what you have in common with the starters, right? If they roll this way. You have a graduate here, you have a graduate here, you have a graduate here, you have a graduate here. Experience. These guys are experienced in their craft, right? I don't think that you can match up this team against another team. And I would be curious, and I guess I could do the research, but I just didn't think about it to now. How many other teams have 4 graduates that start? Jamie, what's up, man? I appreciate you being here. What's up, Sean? Always coming through with it, bro. I appreciate you being here. Max Tooney points out Javon Quinterly was up visiting the team yesterday. Yeah, he's not far from there. So far, I've picked 77% in my bracket. That's what's up, man. That's good. Where are you at in your bracket? Like I said, I think I'm like number 4 out of 25 guys. So we'll see. Alabama and BYU this Thursday, 6 p.m. Tip-off is on CBS. Alex, what's up, man? All good. Thanks for joining in, man. We won't mark you as a tardy. Justin, what's up, bro? Appreciate you being here. All right. So it's decision day for Jorden Edmonds, okay? This is a big deal. Usually I don't bring recruiting here unless things are starting to cook. I mean, guys can decommit, recommit, blah, blah, blah. It's exhausting. But I like this one. You got a 5-star, okay, in Jorden Edmonds. He's a number 2 player overall in the state of Georgia. I think that says a lot. I don't care what position you are. If you're in the top 10 in the state of Georgia, I want you. Georgia has elite high school football players. Just like Texas, Florida, California. You're from Georgia, I want you, period, okay? Jorden Edmonds, he comes to Alabama later on today if he decides to commit to the Crimson Tide. This tells you a lot about the continuation of Courtney Morgan, Kayla Nabor, and their process to recruit at a very high level. One of the things that I like about him is he's almost 6'3". I'm going to run through his tape in just a minute. He plays wide receiver, of course, but I like him more as a defensive back. One of the things that I wanted to point out, though, that I think is really interesting is when you look at – this was a photo yesterday, courtesy of the University of Alabama that they posted. Look at this. This completely stood out to me, okay? So I was doing my AM graphics, going through the research. You have Dejon Lee, who's currently here, who's a freshman. He is 6'4", okay? With his helmet on, he looks probably 6'6". He's on the left. That's Mo Lindquist right here. This is their defensive backs coach. And you have, 6'2.5", let's call him 3, Jorden Edmonds on this side. Do you see what I'm saying? This shows you what Alabama is going after with the recruiting class in terms of lengthy corners. We have seen, and I've been looking at film, the film that we have to look at. I have been looking at Dejon Lee. You know who he's been going against? Hey, Ricky Smith, good morning to you. I appreciate you being here. You know who he's been going against? He has been going up against Ryan Williams. We always talk about iron sharpening iron. Like, Dejon Lee going up against Ryan Williams right now in the month of March. Imagine how much more talented Dejon Lee is going to be come the season. I think we might have a position battle between Dejon Lee and Ezavier Brown. I think you have 3 corners capable to start right away. You could even potentially throw in Cam Calhoun, although I think he'll play the Husky position. But I think you have Damani Jackson when he comes back healthy. You have Ezavier Brown. But I think, honestly, Dejon Lee, I think he's going to be pushing for a spot, okay? Now, on this side, the target that is announcing today, and he's been predicted by everybody that knows everything about Alabama football, Jorden Edmonds, 6'2", 6'2.5". Let me ask you inside the comment box, if you follow Recruiting with the Microscope, if you follow the great Andrew Bone, if you follow, the great Chad Simmons, if you follow, 247, your guys over there, Sam Spiegelman from Rivals, have you seen good things about Jorden Edmonds committing to the Alabama Crimson Tide today? Because it looks like it was between Georgia and Alabama, and it's starting to look more Alabama, and it looks like you're going to get a big 5-star today at 3 p.m., that window. Follow him on Instagram. Boost his social profile so he can get paid more money. Hayes Fawcett, yep. Hayes Fawcett, I'm sure. I mean, those guys break every single thing. So have your notifications turned on for all those guys. Todd Tipton chiming in. Todd's always on the money as well. Todd is saying it's been done for a while. Ricky Smith says he follows Andrew Bone. The great Andrew Bone. Nobody better in the industry. Todd has a high hit rate, though. If you want to follow somebody who's always on, Todd's got you covered. Todd's our Andrew Bone. Here on Bama Football on YouTube. All right, so this coming in later on today. I like that graphic, though. It kind of pairs up well, and it shows you what Alabama is doing, in terms of recruiting. Let's run through some tape. One of the things that I want you to watch when we're watching his highlight tape is he plays both sides of the ball. I'm not crazy about him as a wide receiver, okay? I do like him as a corner, and I think he is nowhere near his ceiling. I think you bring him in, and you can work with this guy in a lot of different ways. That's not a knock on him. There you go. Myron saying Steve Whitfong. Oh, yeah, Steve Whitfong is like the ultimate, right? He's like the highest that there is. Okay, here we go. We got some tape. This is on Huddle. You can watch him. Let's go full screen on this, actually, and I'll do the voiceover in the background. All right, so you got a corner up top. He's 6'2", and you can see he comes down, and he's a physical corner. I've seen him make multiple tackles within this highlight tape, but you're going to see him playing on both sides of the ball. Here he is on the wide receiver down at the bottom of your screen. Again, he's probably closer to 6'3", I guess. Jeff, what's up, man? I see you inside the comment box as well. Quarterback steps up, throws off platform. He's going to connect with Jorden Edmonds in the end zone. I don't necessarily like him as a wide receiver. I think Alabama has, honestly, like a wide receiver problem at this point in time because there's so many good guys. So I do like him as corner, but at the high school level, clearly, if you can play both ways, play both ways. Here he is on the top of your screen. It's going to be a man coverage. Here's that length right there, right? Uses those long arms to break up a pass. It's the same thing that you're seeing right now from Dejon Lee, right? The freshman here at the University of Alabama. Here he is going against what looks like a very tall wide receiver on this other side. The guy looks like 6'4" that he's going against. Man coverage, turns his head around, gets called for the pass interference, like the aggressive play. Here he is playing wide receiver, makes a cut upfield. See, he's not a burner. Number 2 is a burner. My goodness, who is that? That's why I like him more on the defensive side. But again, high school, you play all levels. What's up, Ricky Smith? See you inside the comment box, man. Quarterback, throws it, high points it, gets upfield. We've seen Ryan Williams do that 100 different times this past year. Here he is playing some man coverage up top. Looks like against the Michigan Wolverines. Wow, look at those jerseys. Those are exactly like Michigan. Fights off the blocker. He's able to push the running back out of bounds. Gets the flag. I don't know who got the flag. Looks like we're going to get some more man coverage out here. Looks like a corner post, and wide receiver has no chance. So that's what we're looking at, for the corner, Jorden Edmonds, who will be announcing today at 3 p.m. Here he comes up. Wraps up the tackle. I mean, what would you look? Anytime you start to talk about like 5 stars coming in, you get excited. Post your level of, if you follow recruiting again with the microscope. Some of you out there are like you have no idea. I'm kind of with you. It's like recruiting gets interesting for me when these guys actually start signing paperwork, because I know how this works. You sign with Alabama, and then you get, your brand goes up. Everybody comes after you. You require more money. Blah blah blah. Good speed right here, actually returning that kick. So on a scale of 1 to 10, what's your excitement level for Jorden Edmonds potentially committing to the Alabama Crimson Tide? All right. Post your level of excitement inside the comment box on Jorden Edmonds. Honestly, I probably feel like a 9 out of 10. I know 5 stars they're hard to get, especially on the defensive line. My goodness. I'm pretty high, to be honest. I'm pretty high on him. I think is this the best 5-star Alabama's gotten? I don't know. But dang, he looks pretty damn good. You guys are coming in with some 8s. I think I have myself at like a 9. I'm pretty excited about it. And the biggest thing that I like about it is the fact that Alabama's going after long, rangy corners. I like that. I like Trey Amos's game. I thought he was really good. I thought that hurt Alabama when he left. Dejon Lee's been absolutely balling out of control. You need longer, rangy corners because wide receivers are only getting taller on the outside. So, love to see it. If Alabama does, in fact, land up Jorden Edmonds today, here's a look at some of the prospects that have committed so far. I think they have 3. Actually, I think they have 4 at this point in time. They have 3? I think they have 3 prospects. But you have Zion Gibson right here. He's out of the state of Alabama. He's committed. He's out at Gadsden. He's another corner. He was basically the first to jump on board. And then you have Jamarian Matthews. A lot of people are really excited about him. You have him as an edge rusher, one of those wolf position type players. And then you have Chris Booker, who jumped on in late February, who's a interior offensive lineman. And I think things will really start to heat up for Alabama in terms of recruiting this summer. Patrick Surtain. I love that. I don't know. I mean, shoot. Patrick Surtain was, he was just the NFL Defensive Player of the Year. But yeah, the long, rangy corners are really important, all right? So I have a graphic that I wanted to show you guys real quick. Let's see if I can get to it. And it's kind of showing the defense right now in the class of 2026. So out of the 4 guys, 3 of them would be on defense. Jorden Edmonds at the bottom of your screen. I have no idea where these corners will play, once we start actually playing games, but I sometimes roll with this graphic when we're talking about the defense. So up top, you have Zion Gibson, right up at the top. He's a 4-star corner. You have Jamarian Matthews. I put him at that wolf position. And then you have Jorden Edmonds down here at the bottom. So you start to pair up the recruiting class. It looks pretty good. I don't know who will play safety or inside linebackers, and think this graphic will continue to get filled out. But that looks pretty good to me from a starting point. So now you're probably wondering, right? If you're out there, you're probably like, "Whoa, okay, that's great." Who are they recruiting on the offensive side? Well, Ezavier Crowell was just in Tuscaloosa yesterday. And Rocketown reminds you one more time to hit that thumbs up. Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Every show is handcrafted from the bottom of my heart. All the graphics done by me. All the talking done by me. All right, Ezavier Crowell was in Tuscaloosa yesterday. So he's a running back. He is out of Jackson, Alabama. He was supposed to be in the class of 2027. But in this day of age, you don't just wait till like May when you graduate. Now, you not only early enroll, you'll basically like fast forward your last year. So he reclassified, and he's in the class of 2026. He was recently in Tuscaloosa. There's some great articles about him. He's talking about, Coach Kalen DeBoer and Robert Gillespie, who's the running backs coach, explaining to him the impact that he could have here at Alabama in the future. You're like, okay, well, let's see how many, running backs do we have here. I think the interesting thing will be, and you can see his official visits, Georgia, Texas, Auburn, Bama. I don't know what these teams have in their running back room, but Alabama also has so many running backs. So Ezavier Crowell, I would imagine that he has to look at the depth chart of each school, just like everybody does. But could you imagine looking at Alabama's? Let's do this together. Jam Miller, he'll leave. Richard Young, I'd imagine, he could come back next year and be the guy. You also have Daniel Hill, who looks fantastic. A.K. Deere just signed. Kevin Riley, he just got some love from Coach Kalen DeBoer. There's a lot of running backs. And in this new offense, how is the running back going to be utilized? Is it going to be feature guy, rotation of backs? Does Ezavier Crowell want to be the guy? Does he want 200 carries a year? Because if you're looking at Alabama, I don't know if there's going to be a running back that ever gets 200 carries a year. I think it's going to be more of a running back committee underneath the new offense, which is fine. I mean, Josh Jacobs, he wasn't overused, and look at what he's doing now in the NFL. Let's look at some of his highlights because they are super impressive. Remember, this guy reclassified. Big, powerful. He's got a really good blend. I think you would call him a complete, all-balanced running back. And what that means to me is he's got power, he's got speed, he hits the hole hard. Think about this. This guy should only be a junior this coming year, but he fast forward, so this is his last year playing. That's how talented he is. Right out of the state of Alabama. He's got a really good burst. He's tough to tackle. I can't even imagine going against somebody like this at the high school level. Does he have that breakaway speed? It looks like it. I mean, so think about the future. You get Ezavier Crowell, who we're looking at right now. You get A.K. Deere. Damn. This dude's, I'm telling you, this guy's a monster. Look him up on your free time. Go and watch some of his highlights. You have some other YouTube channels talking about his highlight tape and just kind of hyping him up. He's a monster. This is somebody that you would love to get for many different reasons. But you look at Alabama. Look at this play. Did you see this? That was crazy. He must have ran 150 yards on that play. Ooh, I love this creativity right here. Get him to the outside. Just get your best player of the football, period. Damn, he does have a burst. Oh, my goodness. Yo, Ezavier Crowell could run, man. Yeah, Max Tooney says he can run big. He does. Yeah, look at this. Let's see what he does. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 guys missed. Damn. This guy's can we label him must get? Now, this is an impressive highlight tape. Damn. Ooh. And what is he, 205, something like that? Wow. That was fun to look at. All right. So that's Ezavier Crowell. Alabama had him in town yesterday. So when you you can question, I think, some of the things about Coach Kalen DeBoer or, his coaching staff or the team or the whatever, just like any other team. If you just look at recruiting right now, though, for Alabama, those guys have been cooking. He cooked last year, right? He gets a 5-star today. If you can reel in Ezavier Crowell, he's cooking again. I think a lot has to do with Courtney Morgan, too. Courtney Morgan, Kalen DeBoer, Mo Lindquist, Jamarcus Shepard. Shoot. You know, I found it interesting yesterday. I'm going to talk about some of these photos courtesy of the University of Alabama. Did you see this yesterday in the news? General manager Andrew Luck, he fired the head football coach at Stanford. Did you see this? I think that we're starting to move to this, and I think we're starting to move to this world where the GMs are more powerful than the head football coaches. That would be like Courtney Morgan firing Kalen DeBoer. That's what happened yesterday at Stanford. So I don't know who Andrew Luck gets as a head football coach. It's kind of interesting timing that he'd do it now. I would imagine they're having spring football. But did you see the story yesterday? Oh, and I think for A-Day, it's just going to be a Frankenstein practice. Like, all they're going to do is practice. It's all geared towards driving Yay Alabama memberships because they want you to be able to sign up and then get onto the field, but it's just going to be practice. So, yeah, I might cruise out there, check it out. It's going to be practice. Plus, there's 50 team reporters who all tweet the exact same thing, right, at the exact same time. But this is how we're going. So now you're going to have the GM, I think, will be on top of, the whole coaching staff. This is college football. All right, some photos came in from the University of Alabama yesterday. I'll go full screen on this, and I'll walk you through it. So up top right here, this is Geno Vandermark. He's a returning offensive lineman. I think you have him in a reserve position most likely, but he's capable of starting, right? You have Jaden Roberts coming back. We love Jaden Roberts. They call him the Hulk. He's one of the strongest players on the team, right? He's coming back. He's an absolute starter at that right guard position. Then you have Big Tim Keenan up to the top right, right? Love me some Tim Keenan out of Ramsey, out on Beham. The photos that they sent were just of Ty and Austin Mack. That means absolutely zero in terms of like the quarterback competition. So just because we don't have a photo of Keelan Russell doesn't mean that nobody loves him. They barely send any photos at all. So, if you're out there and you're like, oh man, they didn't send a photo of Keelan, that means he's going to hit. No, like that, it means absolutely nothing. It's pretty much a random draw of whatever the school sends out. The two linebackers right here, this is interesting. So you got QB Reese. He's been making a little bit of headway this year, I have to say. Very physical linebacker. People forget about him. Don't forget about him. He's in that too deep. You have a lot of experienced inside linebackers right now, right? Nakai Hill-Green, Deontay Lawson, Justin Jefferson. But two of those guys are limited or out, so I would imagine QB Reese right here is getting more opportunities. And then right next to him is Caden Jones. Caden Jones had more tackles than Justin Okoronkwo last year. Is he better than Justin Okoronkwo? I don't know. I would probably say no, but that's not a knock on him. I think Caden Jones is very good too. I just think that Justin Okoronkwo was the guy. So I see a lot of chatter inside the comment box about me going to A-Day. Yeah, I probably rolled to A-Day. Yeah. I mean, it's going to be, a beautiful day. I wish I could be live, like, talking about it when we're doing, like, a walk and talk or, a watch along and talk. But I think I'll roll through, watch it, and then come back and have a show in the evening time. I think that's the best way to do it. So, those are probably my plans. Low-key plans are probably roll over there, make some observations, and then I'll just roll back home and talk about it. So I'll keep you guys posted. Hey, Quincy, what's up, man? Good to see you inside the comment box, man. Good morning. I appreciate you being here. Jay Boogie, what's up, man? I see you as well. Okay. The photo that stole everybody's attention, though, yesterday was this photo right here. This is Dejon Lee. Look at this photo. Let's just look at this real quick. Did you guys see this yesterday? Now, I have to say the exact quote. So if you have kids, cover their ears, put some earmuffs on them. But I didn't come up with this. I just have to say, I'm repeating this. Coach Womack called him a long ASS corner. Look at this guy. That's why I said, look, I have no insight, but piecing these together, doesn't it seem like there's going to be a comp? How the hell are you going to keep him off the field? You're going to have him on the sidelines? Look, I'm all for Xavier Brown. I thought he did a fine job. I think Damani Jackson is absolutely – I thought Damani Jackson was going to go to the NFL. But you had – look, out of all of the million of Alabama sites that talk about Alabama football all day, people are talking about Dejon Lee. We're not making this stuff up. Chris Wood – yeah, thank you, Chris. You could say it. I have people who email me because sometimes I'm just, I might say – like Coach Saban, I think he got in trouble because he said a couple things, right? But Dejon Lee, man, I don't know how you're going to keep him off the field. This is the extra side of mustard, right? What a name, too. He's 1,000,000%. Just like, remember when Kool-Aid signed with Kool-Aid? Like, they swapped Instagram handles? You got to think that what's the best mustard that we have out here? Does anybody inside the comment box think that Dejon Lee has an opportunity to start this year? And I don't think we can forget about Zay. That's what I was going to say, Max French's, right? But I like me some Dijon mustard. You know what? That Chick-fil-A sauce is good. It's really good. And what a perfect time for the Kendrick Lamar song. We're like, right? Turn the TV off, mustard. What a perfect time. I'll be playing that all the time. I kind of think that he makes a run to start. I have no inside knowledge of that, and I'll be curious to see how this team does on Thursday when they scrimmage. So, we'll see what else happens. And now I want to open up, the later part of my segment right here, talking about position battles. It doesn't have to be about the quarterback. I want some feedback from you inside the comment box. You guys can post your questions. I'll answer them. Let's just do a question and answer series talking about position battles right now going into Alabama's first scrimmage tomorrow. So here's what to watch because it's going to get pretty busy from today through Friday. So today what you're watching at 3 p.m., you have Jorden Edmonds, who's a 5-star corner, set to announce. He has been predicted by Steve Whitfong, Andrew Bone, 247 Bama, everybody who knows everything about Alabama to commit to Alabama somewhere within that 3 p.m. window. Follow Hayes Fawcett. I'm sure he'll have an incredible graphic. Okay? That's at 3. Tomorrow, Alabama holds its first scrimmage of the spring season. Okay? That's closed to everybody, but people talk. So we'll bring you what we know. Coach Kalen DeBoer will speak on what happened at the scrimmage. And then following that, you'll have a break in the day. And then 6 p.m., Alabama Crimson Tide basketball team play BYU. So the next, 36 hours, there's going to be a lot of movement. So please stick around right here on Bama Football on YouTube. I appreciate you guys. So why don't you guys go ahead and post what's on your mind in terms of position battles, and we can start some dialogue from that standpoint. Honestly, I feel that when you start to look to Alabama's defense, and this is a good starting point right here, Cam says, I say they play mustard at the Husky position. You can't sit that kind of talent on the sideline. I think when you look to the Husky position, and for anybody wondering what the Husky position is, it's the third corner that you have out on the field, right? I feel that Cam Calhoun fits that spot a little bit better because he is a physical wide receiver, physical defensive back. Man, but now I'm starting to wonder and I'm sure Mo Lindquist is kind of licking his chops with what he can do schematically with the defense, right? In terms of mixing around his corners, the safeties that he has. I know somebody mentioned Zay Mincy a little bit ago. I think he's a great addition. Maybe you could have – I think it's going to be hard to keep him out of the safety spot. Think about the safeties right now. Bray Hubbard, Keon Sabb, Zay Mincy. It looks like Drake Kirkpatrick's getting a little bit of work at that Husky position. You got Cam Calhoun at that Husky position. You got Dejon Lee. You have Xavier Brown. You have Damani Jackson. Like, these are good problems to have at this point in time because last year you didn't have those problems. You had one corner that we knew that was going to start, and you had Malachi Moore coming back. And that was it. We didn't know anything else about the secondary. You're completely loaded in the secondary. And I agree with Chris Woodson right now. I think he's too long for the Husky position. If anything, maybe I don't even know if you put Damani at Husky and then I wouldn't do that because I like my experienced corner. So I think what I would do is I'd go Damani corner, and if there's any position battle, I would go with Dejon Lee over Xavier Brown, and I put Cam Calhoun at that Husky, and I put Bray Hubbard and Keon Sabb, and that's my secondary. And I let Dejon Lee and Xavier Brown battle it out. That's what I do. Daniel Adams wants to talk about the right tackle. This has been a common question, right? What is going to happen at the right tackle for the Alabama Crimson Tide? I think the way that we look at it in terms of right tackle is who's going to be the second right tackle. The first team right tackle is 100% going to be Wilcom Formby, period. So who's going to be after Wilcom Formby? I think that's the interesting question. I think it could honestly be maybe Jackson Lloyd. I know Arquel Newcomb has gotten some opportunities this spring because Caden Proctor is limited. I don't think that he's ready to play just yet in terms of his overall talent level. I could be completely off on that. But I kind of feel that Wilcom Formby will be the starter. Who do you think? Who do you think will be the second right tackle? Second right tackle. Chris Woodson chimes in. He's like, you move a freshman lockdown corner for another freshman, Kyle. Man, I know problems at Alabama. I'm glad I'm not Mo Lindquist. Jermaine chimes in. He says, Dre is perfect for Husky. I agree. I think that the Husky is, to me, the Husky position, and this would be a great question for Coach Kane Womack. Like, what characteristics do you look for in somebody that can play Husky? Right? And then we could go off of that. But I think Drake Kirkpatrick, just his compact size, he's super athletic, he's physical, he can bring the boom. That's the type of corner that I want with my Husky. That's the way that I see it. Cam is coming back, and he's saying that Jackson Lloyd, for sure, at that second team right tackle position. Yo, and I know things are crazy, man. This is how good these guys coming in are, right? I don't know if Dejon Lee will pop over Xavier Brown. I think it's going to be hard to keep Dejon Lee on the sidelines. And Daniel brings out this, man. He's like, look, it's going to be a really good defensive back rotation. The season's a gauntlet, man. Think about this. How fortunate was Alabama to be able to have Bray Hubbard just ready to go? That's why the depth, and that's why being patient here at the University of Alabama is so important. I don't know if that exists anymore in college football, but having quality reserves is a good thing. That's why Alabama can't have a proper A-day. They go out there with their first and second string. Man, these guys are going to be poached. Imagine Zay Mincy's probably like a reserve safety. If I was another university, I'd be going after Zay Mincy. Just because I think he's ready to play right now. Especially maybe at not a high-profile school like Alabama, but somewhere else could certainly get him in. You can't. Zay Mincy is so underrated, it's crazy. You just don't get a lot of notoriety right now because Bray Hubbard's, shining so bright after the season that he had. Sean wants to know, do we pay Mbakwe to have him as a backup depth piece? There was nobody that ever said that he officially got paid. I think kind of putting things together, it looked like Alabama made whatever they did, they figured out a way to keep him. Let me ask you this. How do you think they kept Jalen Mbakwe? Seriously, what do you think changed his mind? Because for those of you, and a lot of people don't know this, he entered the transfer portal, filed the paperwork, he entered it, all the major news sites broke it, that he went in the transfer portal, and then he came back out. And Greg Byrne, go look up all this stuff. Greg Byrne went on, and he was like, somebody tried to come after us, sign up for Yale, Alabama so we can keep our players. So what did that mean to you? Do you think they went to him and were like, hey, we'll give you a podcast with Ryan Williams? Do you think they went and said, hey, we'll throw you 30 passes this year? Or do you think they went to him and be like, hey, we'll give you $1.5 million to stay? Or do you think that Mbakwe is like, yo, I was just offered, 1.7 and they're going to start me? I don't know. If you line up things, I think they paid him. But we have no idea who's getting paid what. All we know is that he went in the transfer portal. Greg Byrne said that somebody tried to poach him. They were able to make an effort to keep him. And now he's on the roster, and we don't even know where he'll play or how they'll, utilize him. Now, people have been very complimentary of him. People have saying that he's been, working hard and learning the position. I don't know. Oh, man, I forgot about Jake Pope. Jake Pope, I thought, he played well a couple spring games ago. He had that real big hit on Jermaine Burton, but, after that, that's the thing. You leave Alabama, you're quickly forgotten about because they'll fill your spot with somebody who's probably better than you. Jordan Bailey chimes in. He's like, they should have let Mbakwe leave. He's not hopping off any wide receivers. Man, and I think, look, piecing things together, people were like, we want Casey Concepcion. We want Isaiah Horton. I think Alabama made its choice to get another wide receiver when they kept Jalen Mbakwe and they just brought him to the offensive side. That took away a wide receiver spot, and that probably took away money from their NIL pot as well. Now, is he an absolutely dynamic weapon? Yeah, but where? On this roster, where? I was thinking that maybe he'd fight for a spot at that Husky position. And the thing about Mbakwe, he's so dynamic. He's so athletic. Man, he brings a lot to the table. I'm glad Alabama didn't leave him. I'm just like, where are they going to play him? Is he going to be like a full-time kick returner, punt returner? The only place that I could see him as a starter is kick returner and punt returner. I don't see him as a starting wide receiver, and I don't see him as a starter on the defensive side. But this is only his second year here. If you don't play within your second year here, does that mean that you're not good? No. It just means that that's fact for right now at this point in time. And look at all those wide receivers that you have, right? I mean, we talk about the first string all the time. Ryan Williams, Isaiah Horton, Jeremy Bernard, okay? Rico Scott, people talking about him. Cole Adams, people talking about him. Jalen Hill, he's back. That's 6 wide receivers. Bubba Hampton will be back. Jalen Mbakwe, he's back. Oh, well, what about the 2 other freshmen that you brought in? Well, who are they? Lazier Brooks, who's been balling out of control. And you also have Derek Meadows. If I miss somebody within the wide receiver unit, I'm just going off the top of my head, but I think that's the whole spot. What's up, X? Saki X. Getting Horton, I think, is what stopped Bach from getting a starting. Getting Isaiah Horton was just such a tremendous upgrade for the room. I think what that did was that it might have done this, X. I think that moved Ryan Williams to the slot. And then all those guys that were fighting for that slot position basically got bumped down because Isaiah Horton's outside. Jeremy Bernard's outside. Ryan Williams is going to be the biggest problem in college football at the slot position, period. Lance points out Mbakwe getting paid simply because of his Ryan Williams. That could be the case too. We don't know that. But those guys are best friends. They have this podcast together. They're, and now in Alabama is reacting to this just like everybody else in college football. You have no idea how to balance the happiness, how to keep different people, this and that, because this has never happened before. This is a damn good question right here. Bob, what's up, man? I think I like Jalen Hell over Mbakwe at wide receiver. Okay, I think everybody will back me up inside the undefeated. A 100% Jalen Hell or 100% Jalen Mbakwe, who do you put on the field first? Jalen Hell. 100%. Jalen Hell is so damn good. So good. I think if he didn't get hurt, he'd probably be starting. It'd probably be him, Ryan Williams, and Jeremy Bernard. I think those would be your starters if he never got injured. People know Hell. Hell is like, we just don't know if Hell will ever get back to like, that would be a good question, and they can't talk about that, but what are the chances that Jalen Hell is like 100% this year or comes back to being 100%? Because I think the injury that he had was significant. West Coast and coming back. He's like, y'all keep saying slots, and the offense at the launching point when the ball is snapped, Bernard did 75% of the motion. Interesting point out. I like that. Love the stats. Bob chimes back and he says, I think Bach realized this team has for sure a shot to win all, and let us get our quarterback and Michael Penix's potential. Winning the Natty is still a standard. Yeah, 100%. And look, maybe he wants to be here. He's from Alabama. Figure out a way to, just stay patient, contribute. He'll play. They'll get him on the field. Let's see what 1904 has to say. What's up, 1904? Thanks for chiming in. Jarvis, inside the comment box. Who has the biggest game for Bama tomorrow against BYU? Oh, switching it up to basketball. Ooh, I love this. Okay, let's ask. Undefeated. Who has the biggest game for Alabama against BYU? Who has the biggest game for Alabama against BYU? I mean, the easy choice obviously is Sears, right? Youngblood's been too up or down. I'm not going to pick him right now. Amori's been hot. Grant Nelson is, Okay, I see a lot of Grant Nelsons. Drayshawn's still on Mo Diabate. Mo Diabate has been balling. He seems like an easy pick, right? Mo Diabate, 28 points in 2 games. Jarvis, you're going with Youngblood. Man, I love me some Youngblood. It's just he's been up and down. I don't know. This is a tough one. Patrick saying Phylon. You could go Holloway. Crimson Angel saying Stevenson. Sears hasn't really had that big game yet in the tournament, right? 22 in round 1 is pretty standard. 12 in game 2 in only 26 minutes because of foul trouble. Phylon, people love Phylon. You saw Phylon and Ryan Williams are going to connect for their podcast. That's how big Alabama is. Think about Phylon is ridiculous, just like Ryan Williams. Those two connecting is like unreal the talent that they have here. Let's see, Sears, Phylon, Holloway, Jarvis. No, I thought Holloway played pretty well in this last game. I thought he did Like off the bench against St. Mary's, I thought he played well. First game, he didn't get a lot of playing time. Second game, I thought he did well. Austin French, what's up, man? I think I'm going to go with Mark Sears. I mean, it's a safe bet, but I mean, you need to continue big play from Amori, period. Mo's going to do his thing, but I'm going with Sears. And I think maybe if Sears gets hot in New Jersey, I think he stays hot. A lot is going to revolve around the All-American. Can't wait to see it. But remember, so today, what you're watching today, so set your alarms or whatever for your recruiting sites, and definitely stick around here, Bama Football on YouTube. Jorden Edmonds, it's the decision day for him. 3 p.m. Central Time. Around that window, you could follow Hayes Fawcett, his own Instagram, your favorite recruiting reporters. This will be big news. This is a 5 out of 5. This is a 5-star we're talking about. This would be a big get for the Crimson Tide. 6'2.5" corner, 5-star number 2 player in Georgia. He's committing today. He's been predicted to commit to the Alabama Crimson Tide. That's on Wednesday. Now on Thursday, Alabama has its first scrimmage of this entire spring season. Followed by that, you'll get Coach Kalen DeBoer. Followed by that, Alabama in action taking on BYU at 6 p.m. on CBS. So these next, 48 hours, there's going to be a lot of coverage. Please stay with us right here on Bama Football on YouTube. Check out our Facebook channel. Everywhere else we're posting content, but all the news, all the coverage right here on Bama Football on YouTube. I hope you have a blessed rest of your Wednesday. As news happens, I got you covered. So that means around that 3 p.m. window, pop back in right here on Bama Football on YouTube. Make sure the notifications are turned on. I appreciate you guys so much. Thanks for the dialogue, the back and forth. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Thanks for rolling with me as always. Coming to you from beautiful Tuscaloosa, Alabama on this fine Wednesday, March 26th. Kyle Anderson of Bama Football on YouTube. Love you, fam. See ya.